This is a video guide for how to take all 6 measurements for a bra that fits size calculator. You'll need a soft measuring tape, something like this, or a non-stretchy string or ribbon, even a charging cable perhaps, and a ruler that you can measure it with. That's a little bit trickier. If you can get one of these, that's the best. First thing to note, I am currently wearing a thin stretchy bra. You should not be wearing anything. Bare breasts only, no shirt, no bra. You also need a piece of paper and a pen. I like to pre-write the label for all the measurements so it's easy to jot down and I don't get mixed up in the process. The first set of measurements is for your underbust. That's the band measurement. You want to measure directly where your breast meets your rib cage, called the inframammary fold. If your breasts are not self-supporting, such as mine, you'll need to lift them up to get the tape measure underneath. The first measurement is loose. This should be measured just tight enough that the tape measure does not fall down. So that's too loose. You also want to do it on what is considered a neutral breath. So you neither want to inhale nor exhale fully, but somewhere kind of in the middle. I like to do this in front of a mirror so I can double check that the measuring tape is level all the way around my body. All right, I got 34.5 for this one, so I'm gonna jot it down. The next measurement is snug. This one's a little bit subjective, but we want it to be about as tight as you would like a bra band to feel, keeping in mind that bra bands are stretchy. Another thing to note is you'll see some tape measures will start 0 at the very end of the tape measure, but not all of them. Make sure you're only measuring from 0, whether that's at the end or half an inch or 2 inches from the end. Snug should also be taken on a neutral breath. I got 32.25. Now, the last underbust measurement is tight. People frequently get a little bit confused by this one. They think, well, I just did snug, tight's basically the same, or what's the difference? There are a couple differences. For tight, you want to exhale fully. Think about closing your rib cage as you exhale. While you're doing that, you want to pull the measuring tape as hard as you can, like you're trying to break it in half. 30 inches for this one. The next set of measurements is going to be for your bust itself. You want to take all 3 of these measurements at the fullest part of your bust. If you have prominent nipples, such as I do, you can compress them a little bit. Personally, I find that really tricky. I find that in order to compress my nipples with the measuring tape, I end up compressing breast tissue. So I find the fullest part next to my nipple because my nipples are the fullest part. Different bodies are different. The fullest part of your bust may be nowhere near the nipple is. That is okay. Still measure the part that sticks out furthest from your body. The first measurement is pretty typical. It's a standing measurement. Again, you want the tape measure to be levels all the way around your body. And using a mirror is the best way to check this. Do not move or squeeze or change the position of your breasts at any way while taking this measurement. Again, it doesn't say in the calculator, but I always do these on a neutral breath as well, like the first 2 underbust measurements. So for this one, I'm getting 40.75. The next bust measurement is the leaning 90 degrees measurement. This one's a little bit tricky for me to catch the angle of because I'm limited with my camera tripod, but hopefully you can see pretty well. Again, you want to be leaning over 90 degrees, bent at the waist, and measure the fullest part of your bust, making sure you do not squish together or hold up or hold apart your breasts in any way. Just measure them exactly how they lie. You again want to make sure the measuring tape is level all the way around, not higher on your back or lower on your back. And for this one, I'm getting 42 inches. The last set of bust measurements is laying on your back. Again, as always, allowing your breasts to lay however gravity takes them. It's totally fine if they fall to the sides. It's totally fine if they stay in the same position. Just measure them the way they lay. This one's a little challenging for me to do while recording, but looks like I'm getting around 40 inches. Once you have all 6 of your measurements, you enter them into the calculator. We always recommend using UK sizing. It is one of the more consistent sizing methods. If you live in the EU or somewhere in Europe, European sizing with the calculator is a little bit funky, so we recommend using UK sizing and then manually converting your size to EU if necessary. I live in the US, as you can probably tell by my voice, my accent, but I still use UK sizing. For the purpose of just pointing out why it's important not to actually wear a bra or a shirt while measuring, I went ahead and did all of my measurements completely naked, or topless anyway, with a tank top on, a thin, kind of snugly fitted tank top, not super tight, but fitted, as well as this bra. And you will find there's a significant difference. Completely topless, I got a 34F or double F. This is pretty much in alignment with what I wear, although I often choose a 32 band if it runs a little bit on the looser or stretchy side. When I wore a tank top, I got 34 double D/E. That is a 2 to 3 cup size difference, very significant. And wearing this bra, I got a 34F, which is pretty close, surprisingly, honestly, but I do tend towards that larger cup size, so it's still not quite accurate. A couple other things to keep in mind. Make sure to double check the accuracy of your measuring tape. Some people have found they've accidentally gotten measuring tapes that use Chinese inches, which are a bit smaller than a standard inch. Or sometimes people find that their measuring tape is old and is stretched out over time. We recommend using a standard sheet of printer paper because we have known sizes for those. You can measure along one side and check and see if it's accurate. There are plenty of other videos that show other important things like scooping and swooping, which is a critical part of putting on your bra, so I'm not going to demonstrate that here. This was just basically to show a visual representation for how to do the actual measuring itself, because not everybody jives well with written instructions. Hope this helps.